Yeah, hello students, welcome to Simply Anthro. In this video, we try to analyze the syllabus of Anthropology Paper 2. Paper 2 has total 9 units. The 9 units are very simple because it's completely dealing about Indian anthropology. When I say Indian anthropology, we'll talk about India's culture, India's languages, Indian religion, Indian caste, Indian races, all we will discuss here is. This particular paper 2 also helps you in essay writing, helps you in society, helps you in tribal studies, social issues, and many other general studies part. Then what is the first one? The paper 2, unit 1 is like 1.1, there is 1.2 and 1.3. It has 3 subunits. Unit 1 is like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. When I say 1.1, it is again similar to the paper 1, unit 1. Paper 1, unit 1 is also we are dealing about archaeology. It is again related to that paper 1, unit 1. Let us say 1.1, evolution of Indian culture and civilization of prehistoric periods. When I say prehistoric, you see prehistory, history, are you getting it right? History means always having written evidences. When I say prehistory, there is no proper evidences that we have to found. Clear, right? Look at this like prehistorical civilization. We talk about what is a Paleolithic. Paleo means old. Lithic means stone age. Paleolithic. Meso means middle. Neo means new. Neolithic. Chalcolithic. All this will Chalco means bronze, copper, teenage and all kind of things. Means here we are going to talk about how the Indian culture got evolved, how Indian civilization got evolved. In the evolution, we are going to talk about mostly the material remains. Because in archaeology, what do you found? You will found material remains. What kind of materials used in Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic. Again, Paleolithic is like upper Paleo, middle Paleo, lower Paleo. That is how we will discuss here. We will talk about pre-Harappan, Harappan, post-Harappan also. IVC, Indus Valley Civilization, pre-Harappan, Harappan, post-Harappan, contributions of tribal culture to Indian civilization. How various tribal cultures, how the Bills contributed, how the, let us say, the Gond contributed, contributions of various tribal communities to the Indian culture we will discuss, which is more or less your ancient history, very, very easy and important. Next 1.2 we'll talk about paleo-anthropological evidences. When I say paleo-anthropological evidences, with the reference to the what? Shivaliks, Narmada men, we'll talk about. What do you mean by paleo-anthropological evidences in India? Human evolution process was happened across the world. We found some of the remains, some of the fossil remains in where? Africa, some of the remains in Europe. We also found some of the fossil remains in India. We wanted to study that human evolution was also happened in India. Generally, what is the belief? Evolution was happened somewhere. From there, human got migrated. But Indians wanted to prove that evolution was also happened in India. How do you found that? By having like paleo-anthropological evidences. We found anthropological evidences like jawbone, forehead, teeth, skull, many other human related things in India. In Shivaliks, Shivaliks of Himalayas, Shivaliks, Narmada Basin, Narmada Valley, Madhya Pradesh, where we found Ramapithecus, Shivapithecus, Narmada man. Ramapithecus, Shivapithecus, Narmada man. So, what is Ramapithecus, Shivapithecus, Narmada man? We found various skeletal remains of human beings in India. Based on that, we have constructed that yes, human evolution was also happened in India, but we call them Ramapithecus, Shivapithecus, Narmada men. This is all about 1.2. It is very, very interesting chapter. Next one, 1.3. Ethno-archaeology in India. We'll talk about ethnology. We'll talk about archaeology. Archaeology means study of remains. Ethnology, study of a culture in a particular way, in a detailed manner. The concept of ethno-archaeology, survival and the parallels among the hunting, foraging, fishing, pastoral, peasant communities, including arts and crafts producing communities. Okay, easy, right? We know, right? What do you mean by survivals? What do you mean by parallels? So other faculties are parallel to me, same age, same time period, parallels. We'll talk about hunting of various human beings, foraging, fishing, the pastoral and peasant communities, craft and craftsmen, all this we'll be discussing in this. This entire chapter is dealing with human evolution with respect to India. With respect to India. So 1.1 is about archaeology. We'll talk about prehistory, talk about Harappa, pre, post, and Harappan time period. 1.2 paleo, anthropology, Ramapithika, Shivapithikas, Narmadaman. 1.3 we will talk about what? Archaeology. Clear, right? Survivals, parallels, foraging, fishing, pastorals, art and craft, all this we will discuss. Let us talk about the second unit in paper 2. This is one of the smallest unit. And when you say in entire anthropology, paper 1 12 units and paper 2 9 units. So total we have 21 units. Almost in this 21 units, let us say 15 units are very small units. Remaining are a little bit bigger. Okay, now, so if you know that kind of strategy in the exam, like which topics are big, which are easy, which are difficult, so that we can easily spend the time on the difficult areas. One of the easiest chapter, that is demographic profile of India. India is like place for various diversities, linguistic diversities, religious diversities, race diversities. Here we will talk about what is the ethnic and linguistic elements in India. Ethnic and linguistic element in India. In fact, paper 2 unit 2 is also replicating in 7th unit of paper 1. 7th unit of paper 1. Clear, right? Yes. So demographic profile of India. What are the races? What are the linguistic people in India? And population distribution, Indian population, factors influencing structure and growth of Indian population. We'll talk about what is the contributions made by Gurye, Guha, okay, na, Haddon. All these people, how they contributed to this particular chapter. This is like demographic profile of India is unit 2, paper 2. Next, let us say paper 2, unit 3. Very, very important, very, very easy. Which is having again the subclauses, let us say 3.1, 2, 3.3 and 3.4. 3.1 is all about your Purusharthas, is all about Varnashrama system. You know, it is very much important in society and ancient history. Look at here is structure and nature of traditional Indian society. What do you mean by traditional Indian social system? Old. During the time of Vedic times, called as a traditional. Modern means present. How the traditional Indian social system is relevant to modern Indian social system, we'll all compare here is. What do you mean by Rina? What do you mean by rebirth? Rina, for example, the duties which are obligated to perform. Deva Rina, Rishi Rina, Pitru Rina, Atithi Rina, all this concept. What do you mean by birth and rebirth? What do you mean by Purusharthas? Purusharthas, Varnashrama system. Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. We will talk about Varnashrama. Again, classification of Swarna. We'll talk about their Brahmacharya, Grosashrama, Vanaprastha, Sannyasam, and what is happening at each and every stage. What do you mean by karma, Rina, and rebirth? Karma theory is always believed in Hindu system. That is the reason why Indian social system is also known as Hindu social system. Indian social system is also known as Hindu social system. Next, 3.2, it is out and about caste system in India, caste structure, caste characteristics, difference between Varna and caste, theories of origin of caste, what is dominant caste, what is caste mobility, future of caste system. It's all about your caste system and Jejamani system, tribe, caste, continuum. Tribe caste means everything about the caste. Let us say 3.3. Sacred complex. Sacred complex, nature, man, spirit complex. How nature, man, spirit were involving with each other. What do you mean by sacred complex? Let us say Bauddha Gaya, best example for sacred complex. Tirupati, best example for sacred complex. Last law, 3.4. How Buddhism, Jainism, Islam, Christianity impacted Indian society. Earlier, Indian society means only Hindu. Later on, Buddhism, Jainism, Islam, Christianity came. How these religions impacted Indian society, that is very, very important. So clear, right? For example, when I talk about Christians, with advent of Europeans, we got Christianity into India, we start spreading the Christianity. Are you getting it right? Very interesting, which is much related to your GS concept. So 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, Unit 2, 3.1234. Okay, na? Entire the third chapter is about Indian social system. Indian social system. Good luck.